Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, Prashant. So today we have Prashant Trivedi with us, who is an expert in Vedic knowledge and the author of the book Peace Gita, Scriptures for Now, and several books on Vedic astrology. Welcome, Prashant.
Yes, Omeshwar. Yes.
So actually, the reason of the talk is that I would like to discuss with you the challenge which was given by Srila Prabhupada to his disciples, that he actually Srila Prabhupada wants his disciple to study carefully the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and construct a working model of the universe. And with this, basically, he would like them to explain the passing of seasons, eclipses, phases of the moon, and passing of the day and night. So, and he also claims that will be very, very powerful propaganda. So, I'll be very interested to hear your opinion about this part.
Okay, my perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is that if you look at Srimad Bhagavatam as a whole, like everywhere, like as a whole, if you read it, things, a thing which will be a recurring theme in the whole thing would be a repetition of this theme that human perception, sense perception, Indriya, are very limited.
Yeah, that's true.
Very limited, very limited, very limited. They'll keep on repeating this. Now, the sages, which are rishis, which are involved in this, they know that even in fifth canto, they didn't describe everything fully, enough to make a model on, like a physical 3D model. Why did they not do that? Because they know that with the human sense perception, you cannot actually visualize the multiverse, the locus. You really cannot. With it, using your limited 3D perception, which is frequency bandwidth just this much, what we see, like even on Earth, we see only 1%.
Yes.
Okay. We are not seeing anything really, like we are not seeing the radio waves, we are not seeing Wi-Fi, we are not seeing any frequency that things, majority of the things are hidden from our plain sight. Okay. That's just a fact. Okay. Now, to make a model of these things on the basis of like these things are happening in a different way completely. That's why none of the physical models work. It was never meant to be. Otherwise, rishis would have given that information. Okay. Take this, put this like this, put that like that. This would be this would be the thing, this would be the thing. But they never did.
But how about Surya Siddhanta? So there is a model for the astronomical calculations from Surya Siddhanta.
Calculation, that is good. Okay, because now that's necessary for Jyotish.
Okay.
That you come to know what is the degrees of the grahas, you want to know the degrees of the ascendant, you want to know all of those things. Okay. So they gave a mathematical that thing for that. Okay. Which is maths, which you can do. It's not a model. It's just maths.
Yeah.
Okay. You take this thing and then you multiply it with this, divided by that, multiplied with this, divided by that, you get that. Like.
Okay.
Okay. Now that's a sutra. Okay, like it's a formula. What will be formula? Okay, but it's not saying what actually is happening. They're never concerned about where their grahas are actually moving. What are their distances to Earth?
Yeah.
Like astrology doesn't care whether how far Jupiter is. It cares if it's at 20 degrees in Sagittarius or Capricorn. Right? It doesn't care how far it is, what it is, whether it's a physical object or not. Cares not about anything to do with the structure. So all of those calculations are for actually, and that obviously people can see that, okay, right now if they see Jupiter in the stars of Sagittarius, it is there or not by the naked eye, and you can see that it is there in the stars of Sagittarius. Okay, so that way the calculations work. If you look towards the ascendant, what sign is rising, you can take out any modern astronomical software, and you can see that sign will be rising as per the calculations in the Veda. As per Surya Siddhanta calculations, that will be the same thing as what is happening by any modern astronomical software. Okay, so because that was the practical purpose, because you have to make charts.
Yes.
Okay. But besides that, what is the structure of this whole thing?
No one knows.
Surya Siddhanta doesn't go into that. Okay. I've gone through that. I have not found anything relating to the structure of this whole situation. Okay. And that's all the rishis are saying away from that in everything, in Purans, they tell you about the loks. Okay, they have different loks. Okay, they have a different sense of time. Okay, they have a different sense of everything, but they can't give you the structure, you know.
Yep.
Even the Meru center Meru thing, that Meru, which goes through the whole, like it's like the axis through the whole Brahman, like center, like axis, which is going through the whole Brahman. Now, right now people have made models I've seen online and stuff like animations, and and then they show the lokas as these planes on that 7 above and 7 below.
Exactly.
And the Bhumandala in the middle. Okay, it's good for like just getting a general idea of something, but that's not how it is actually. Okay. Because there are actually, like, for example, there are pathways from Patal up to Swarg. Okay, like which will be some sort of wormhole sort of travel. Okay, like there are things which go in between things. Some might pass through Earth even. Okay. So it's more complex than that, the whole thing. And to make a model of that and stuff like in 3D, I think is not feasible actually at all. And it'll misguide, because every time you make a model, it'll have flaws. If one model you'll explain 2 things, but you can't explain 2 other things.
Yeah.
If you make another model, you'll explain those 2 other things, but then you can't explain those 2 other things. Right. So I'm just saying, like, we are trying to do the impossible here within the limited human sense perception.
Yeah.
And that's why rishis did not want to confuse us even more. That's why they never said make a model.
Yeah.
I didn't see anywhere written in Bhagavatam or anywhere where they're asking humans to make a working model of this.
Yeah, so of this
reality. They actually are always saying that this reality cannot be known to you until you are out of it.
Yeah.
They're repeating that all the time.
Yes.
That until you get out of this human body and you go into another plane and you are like looking from the top, you're out of this, and then you can see what this is.
Yeah.
There's no other way, like while being in it, to perceive this, what this is. They're repeating that hundreds of times. If you look into the quotes, like they will always say that it's impossible for humans with a limited sense perception to get this. And I don't think we should waste human lives trying to do the impossible.
Okay.
Yeah. The purpose of the human life was getting out of cycle of birth and death. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is like getting out of this realm. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam is very clear about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that text is very clear that you have to get out of here. Okay. All Bhagavatam is actually trying to do is give you a sense that there are other lokas and there are other planes of existence. Okay. Which other texts might not tell you about. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is trying to give you that thing. Okay, there are other realities, other planes of existence, and other things. So you should not feel like that this is the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay, which is obviously amongst a lot of people of today's, they think this is all. There's nothing besides this. Okay, there are a lot of people who think like that. Okay, so it's just taking down that notion.
Yeah.
Okay, and after that, it's saying like, okay, human life is for getting out of that. And if you get out of here, you will come to know. Then you will come to know what this is. From a point, like if you're in a like in Gayatri Mantra also, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in Bhulok. Bhuvar is like next lok, intermediary heaven, and then heaven Swarg.
Yes.
Okay. So like if they're saying like, okay, if you get to like even Bhuvar lok, then you'll get a better idea of this place. If you go to Swarg, you'll get an even better idea of this place. So point is to work to get there.
Yes.
And then get an idea. Then try to get an idea and a model here.
Yes.
So they're very clear about that in the Bhagavatam.
That's true.
From my understanding of it. Okay. They're not asking you to make a model. I mean, why somebody said that to do that? Because I think it was to debunk modern science. Okay, like because modern science is made up.
Yeah, that's the very purpose. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Because it has made this own structure, which is false.
Yeah.
Which is obviously false. Okay. and it can be proven hundreds of ways. It is
Yes.
okay. I mean, there is no doubt about that. Point is, but not. It's not like we should come up with an alternative. That thing, which will be wrong too, which they can say, oh no, this is wrong in this. How do you explain this?
Hmm.
Okay, because there are things which are unexplainable, because it's like quantum jumps, like the word, like 4D realities and things like that, so things curving onto themselves, like that,
Yeah.
there are a lot of different things which happen, you know so this reality is not so easily explained within our three-dimensional perception anyway, you know
Hmm.
how far we see, what we don't see, and all of that. So we have to keep that limitation in mind, and that's why, like, the whole, like, people know that sunrise and sunset is as per our eyes. It is a illusion which our eyes make when something is moving away or coming
Yes.
near.
Yeah.
Like, so because our eyes see in a certain way, like, I mean, our eyes cannot see a railway track,
Yeah.
for going for very long. It'll seem like the lines are meeting to us,
Hmm.
but when they never actually meet.
Yeah.
Okay. So if all our perception is skewed like that, on the basis of the limited senses which human beings are given in this particular kind of body and earth, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense from my point of view to
Hmm.
make any such model. I would rather have beings working on their own selves to get to higher planes of existence.
Yeah.
Out of here, this prison, it's a prison that they know,
Okay.
that that everyone knows. Okay,
Yes.
how the prison is constructed is not much of a that thing, issue here. What is its construction parameters and that thing. I mean, that's not the issue. Point is, like, if you go it out of it, then you will know
Yeah.
what it is like. If you really want to know, that is, if you actually want to know, I would suggest people do that work.
Yeah.
And that is the actual reality. That's when they will really come to know. So that's why I never tried to make a model myself, even out
Okay.
there. Yeah, because I was not interested. I was just saying that, okay, whatever model is there here, that's not right. Okay, that's bogus, and it's creating illusion for people. Our ball Earth just rotating around the sun, and this whole thing going like that, millions of galaxies, and all of this model was very, very like taking people out of existence. Or there's no other planes. There's just some 3D thing,
Hmm.
and it's a joke of a thing. Like, some planets might exist or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
this, which is wrong. Okay, and that should not have been made either. That was not supposed to be been made. That was meant to distract people out there and can keep them busy here.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people have spent their whole lives in that illusion.
Yes, that's true.
Like, yeah. No, but I don't want people spending their whole lives now on trying to make an alternative model.
Hmm.
Okay, like, to that thing, because that's not possible. I mean, I think most rishis will agree that you cannot make a
Model.
model on a 3D, that thing, either in animation or physical plane.
Even as a projection from the multi-dimension to just to give some idea. I mean, how it
Some idea, I think that is there. I think that's already, you can show the planes as 7 planes and
Yeah.
one central axis, and we are somewhere where we are in relation to Mount Meru. It doesn't matter,
Hmm.
makes no difference if we
Yeah.
are 1 million miles from it or 100,000 kilometers from it. I mean, makes no difference where our little island is.
Hmm.
Okay, we know we have water, we have land, and a little bit of island we have.
Yeah. So you
I
said
mean,
that we can. So you said that we
yeah.
cannot really localize the place that we are living.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not.
Yeah, there's no point. Okay, you're an island. We know we're an island. Okay, that's
Mhm.
clear from with our sense perception. There's water and there's land and
Yeah.
there's water. So we are in an island. Okay, like, where that island is in relation to the other Bhumandala locations and that thing is none of our business right now, actually.
Hmm.
Really, because until we go up and look things from up to down perspective, we can't really know.
Hmm.
And that will be different eyes. Even the sukshma sharir which comes out of this physical body, when this physical body dies, the sukshma sharir comes out of it, the
Yeah.
sukshma body comes out of it. Now that body, how that sees, will be different from how these eyes see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you will see once you come out of this body will be very different from what you see right now. Okay, even in that scene you will come to know a lot of things which you can't tell right now while being in this body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm sure like even if a person comes back, they have an NDE, they see that and then come back and into this body, they can't give you a 3D model of what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
not that's that's not possible. Okay,
And how
because
about the, yeah.
yeah, because the perception changes completely,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way to describe that within this that thing, and that's why a lot of people say, oh, it's indescribable, and you know and I mean the word indescribable will be used in Srimad Bhagavatam as well many times,
Yeah.
for within the sensory perceptions of human beings,
Yes.
and yeah, so it is used widely in Bhagavatam. So I mean, so my point is this: I think we should not waste time on that. I mean, we should just reject the current model
Mm-hmm.
and say like, okay, this is not what the structure is. We should understand there are other planes.
Yeah.
There's much more than this plane, and strive to get to those planes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is like to that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about. Okay, you have to get to higher planes, and then finally you have to get to Vaikunt. Okay, the highest plane of existence. Okay, so it's all about that. It's not about proving these people wrong by they can be proved wrong by their own model,
Yeah.
because once you make a model, you can find the mistakes,
Yeah.
you can find the inconsistencies, you can find the nonsense, you can find that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the model itself is proof against itself.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that's what I'm saying here.
Okay. And
Okay.
yeah, and the question about the sun. So,
Yeah.
is this sun that we see is the one which is from Srimad Bhagavatam, or it's our perception of the sun, or how we should look at it, or is it
I
some
mean,
kind of localized version?
the point is that electromagnetic waves are coming
Mm-hmm.
from this thing there, like there's a thing there which is giving this light and that thing and EM waves, and that's what it is for us, and we know what its properties are, whether that light carries heat,
Mm-hmm.
what all it carries, what it does to the things. If it's too much, you know plants die. If it's too little, plants die. you know
Yeah.
I mean, what actual practical thing it does, that's the important bit.
Mm-hmm.
What its name is right now, we don't. And whether the solar deities, like Mitra, Bhaga, and all of those solar deities,
Yeah.
what are they in relation to this? That's not our business right now
Yeah.
on this earth, because they are beyond the nakshatras. They're the rulers of the nakshatras, so there are beings in other planes. Okay, how they relate to this our localized point of light,
Mm-hmm.
solar, which we call this particular solar light, and lunar light. We have two conduits
Yeah.
on this plane, because you have to always have the balance of the masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Okay, otherwise nothing in the multiverse works.
Yeah.
If Purush and Prakriti are not there, like Shiv Shakti, if you don't have the balance of that, nothing works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's why people know, like now people have come to know that moonlight is as important for germination of seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just sunlight. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
if the moonlight wasn't there, then there'll be no germination of seeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we'll have a world of sun and no moon, and then we will have food. We won't.
Yeah. So it's not Moon's gravity pull
No,
towards the Earth, which causes
no,
the tides.
no. It's not that, but the seeds definitely need. That's why if you put the seeds in Shukla Paksh, when the moon is waxing, you will
Mm-hmm.
have that thing. They will germinate. If you don't, they won't.
Mm-hmm.
As the moon is waxing. So the lunar rays, EM waves, have something to do with seed germination,
Mm-hmm.
not the solar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Where the solar, when the leaves are there, when something happens, when the plants have leaves, and then when they reach that, then the sunlight becomes active at that point,
Mm-hmm.
but not in that point. Okay. So moon comes first in
Mm-hmm.
that, and then comes the sun. So what I'm saying is this is a very balanced thing made up this structure which has been made up is a very balanced between the masculine and feminine and Shiv Shakti and everything. So that's all we need to just keep our attention at, rather than finding out, okay, what kind of plasma is this? What kind of light is this? Or what? If we get too curious about this, I mean, it's okay to be curious. What I'm saying is, but the answers we'll only get once we reach higher planes. Okay. It's not going to happen here.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not designed. And it is designed like that, we can't get it here. And you can consider it the will of divine, right?
Yeah.
It's the will of the rishis, this will of divine, that this place be like that, and you have limited perception. It's not like it's designed like that.
Yeah.
So if we are going like that, we are going against the will of the beings who have created this, or the divine will, I would say.
Yeah.
We are forcibly trying to figure something out. Okay. Which is not our task here. We have not been given that kind of, if this was the interest, then this realm will be very different. We would have lifespan of 100,000 years.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay, in 100,000 years, you can say like, I will give 1,000 years now, just to try and figure this out.
Yes.
Why have we given such limited lifespan like 100 years? Okay. Why? Because we are not supposed to waste time in all of this. Okay. I mean, we are supposed to get the idea that there are other planes. This is important to get that idea. But not even to, some people can start making their own mental sort of, that how heaven would be. Or, like they're trying to do this kind of thing. We're not supposed to do that out there. We're not supposed to speculate.
Yeah.
Speculation is the problem here. Yeah, because everything comes down to speculation. Even if we make a model right now, it will still be speculation.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of speculation involved.
Yeah, it's still that's true.
Yeah, speculation will be always there. We are not meant to speculate out there. Because if you really want to know, like fully, like, and then you get to that point. I mean, if you were going on land, like for example, like, then you can only see the land like that. When you go on a plane, only then can you see your city from the top and you get an idea of what this is. When you're on the ground, you can never get an idea of this city.
Yeah.
Like as you can get from air, right?
Now,
the same way, like there is something above that. Like if you go above this plane, then you'll get an idea of this. But if you don't.
But in which sense we go above, you mean? So, because they also claim that there is some firmament or a dome above it. So it's like...
Yeah, but that's also a frequency barrier. It's not physical.
Isn't it not physical? Okay.
Yeah, it's a frequency barrier. Okay, which will appear like a physical thing. If someone goes that thing, but it's still a frequency barrier. So it's like something else is there, which we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, but they call it space, but it's not space. Okay, it is some other kind of existence on plane and something else. Okay.
And also, I have a question about those varshas, which are also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, like Kimpurusha Varsha or Hari Varsha, so which are next to Bharata Varsha. And there was, for example, this military campaign of Arjuna. So actually, he managed to conquer some of those varshas with some other type of beings, not really humans. So, but how is this story connected with the place that we are actually?
I mean, because most of the stories which are there in all of these things are fractals, right? They are fractal stories. Okay, right now, if you look at different versions, like there are beings who have done scholarly work on making this whole earth, different dvipas which are there, and they combine like Magad is this kingdom is this kingdom. All the kingdoms which are set in Mahabharata have been found to be on different places on earth.
Yep.
With the old Sanskrit names and all that things, and Cambodia or Cambodia, or you go south and all of that. They have different names, South America or Africa or North America and Europe. Everyone has different names out there in Sanskrit. So you can say the whole war is fractal war for that. Okay. But then you can take it to another level where it is more than just this plane, just this our particular little island, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and more islands. So, I mean, beings can go to that island too. Okay. It's not that they can't go to that island. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, because if it's a yug where the access is open to that,
Mm-hmm.
you can. But right now, the access is not open.
Yeah.
So you can't.
In which sense do you mean it's not open? So you mean this special arrangement by some forces on the earth?
Yeah. I mean, both accesses are not open, according to me.
Mm-hmm.
The access to either the Patal Lok,
Yeah.
to Bhuvar Lok, or to the Bhulok other islands.
Okay.
3 types of accesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up, down, sideways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that too, I'm saying it in a 3D construct, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
as black and white as that. I'm just giving that for, again, just
Mm-hmm.
the sense.
Yeah.
Because if we make that model, Bhuvar Loka will be ahead and Patal will be here. And we are here, and then there are things on the side here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have access to either.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, like, again, we can only speculate about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
we shouldn't.
which is again a waste of time.
Yeah.
Of human life. And that's exactly why we have to be against the system, because it's all speculation and nonsense, which they have provided.
Yeah.
And people have wasted time on that, because all this thing is about wasting time,
Mm-hmm.
actually. And which, with a human with a limited lifespan, should not waste. They should do whatever is required to actually get out of this plane, get out of the cycle of birth and death, and get to those planes where you have some more direct knowledge.
Yeah.
This Brahman,
Mm-hmm.
and even there, like, if you go to Swarg and if you go to higher planes than Swarg, then you'll get a better knowledge of what Swarg is. Like, when you are in Swarg, you will not get a full knowledge of what Swarg is.
Yeah.
You have to go higher than that.
Yeah.
So that's why there were rishis which can make their own Swargs, or which can make so those beings, to get to the level of those beings, you have to work,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the work. And then you would have much more lifespan out there as well. Your lifespan is millions of years.
Yeah.
Okay, now that is much better to
Yeah.
work with the structure of this multiverse than like 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, we are supposed to know localize things in that thing. Okay, how to get from here to there in this plane, and that's enough for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need this kind of like knowledge or working
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. We're not going to make another Earth right now.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay.
So, I also have one more question to you, because in Mahabharata there is quite interesting conversation between King Yudhishthira and Dharma. So actually, Dharma was asked what travels by itself, what is constantly born, what fights the cold, and what is the greatest area. And King Yudhishthira replied that the sun travels by itself, the moon is born constantly, and fire counteracts cold, and the earth is the greatest area. So do you have some kind of thoughts about this, maybe, part?
Okay. I mean, other things that I think, like, first thing takes away this whole heliocentric model, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. The second is about the moons, that thing that it is
that it borns constantly. So
constantly, like, yes, it's changeable. Like, we know it changes from waxing, waning, and everything. Like, it is always doing. It's not like the sun, stable like that. Okay. And like the final thing, what he said about the fire thing is very clear. It beats cold. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the fourth thing? Like,
Earth is the greatest area.
Earth. Yeah. Now, so like, if we make the plane mandal, the Bhumandal, might be much bigger area than other planes in total. Like, if we make like a Brahmand in an egg shape. Yeah, like it's egg shape, right? Like a Brahmand, under means egg shape. So like, there'll be some point in the egg where if you draw the circumference will be the largest. Yeah. So that's all he's talking about, I think, in that. that Bhumantal is the greatest area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So.
yeah.
Okay. So you think basically that it's just a waste of time, that we shouldn't actually spend too much time on the.
No, I mean, not according to me.
Yeah.
And I've not seen any instruction from any Ved Vyas that you make a model.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they wanted us to make a model,
Yeah, but
they would
just,
have
yeah. Mm-hmm.
left us enough that thing, okay, structures a building blocks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is enough to make a chart, Vedic chart, astrology chart. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
left enough that thing for that.
Mm-hmm.
So why not leave for this? Like, if this was something to be done, like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
how
mean,
about those? Because there are people actually who are working on the Tesla coin thing, and actually they are showing that different things can be actually demonstrated, like the moon phases or even the movements of the sun and the moon. So I've seen some kind of simulations or even at the
so
experiment.
simulations, I mean, some things can be explained by that one simulation.
Yeah.
But another thing will not be. There will always be things which will not be.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You will be find one thing in common. I'll tell you, like they can make as many models and demonstrations as they want.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be like even if it covers 5 things, 2 things will not be. That's the nature of this reality.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's been made like that. That every time you do something in this, it has to come out like that.
Yeah.
So we have to accept that fact. If we are not accepting that fact, we will be hitting our heads against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That this realm has been made in that kind of way with the perception which has been given and everything that we cannot find it out. Like exactly.
So how to get them to the higher plane to know how this plane
that's
works.
what I teach. I mean, that's what I teach. My focus all my energy on earth to teach, because what is required for getting to a higher plane is this behavior.
Yeah.
There's one simple thing called human thing called behavior. If your behavior is humble enough, and if you don't have so-called issues,
yeah,
what everybody has issues out here, and if you don't have issues and you get the right behavior, you go to higher plane.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is much more achievable thing.
Yeah.
Like
But how is this physically possible? I mean, so in this, you mean this life or in the next
no,
life?
like in physical body is not made. Physical body you're going to leave. Everybody's going to leave this physical body.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that this physical body is just like a suit you're wearing.
Yeah.
For a certain amount of time, and then you're going to leave it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this body which is going to come out of that, which is many bodies also. Like it's not just one body, but everything has a top body.
Like 7 bodies up or 14?
Yeah, you don't have to count them. There's like Russian dolls. You break the top one, maybe like a whole bunch comes out again. Like so now with these bodies, like the top body will be Sukshma Sharir. It will be Sukshma compared to this one. Stool. This is stool, and then that'll be the Sukshma. Okay. Now the Sukshma Sharir is the thing which can go up to higher plane.
Yeah.
Instead of taking another body here. Okay.
Okay.
Two options, like the Sukshma Sharir takes another of these suits and lives another life, or it goes up to Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka or beyond. Yeah. So we have to decide whether we want that or not.
Yeah.
I think that rather than making this decision would be much more fruitful for human lifespan and that thing. And I think Bhagavatam is all about that too. Everything. I think there's no Vedic text which is not about getting out of cycle of birth and death, according to me. If I see any Vedic text, I find it's only about that.
Yeah.
That's all I see in it, and it gives a like an understanding to people that there are other things, planes and realms, which are like there in the Nordic thing too, but not so clear. The Norse mythology also has it, but not to the level of like where you get a like it's surely there. This kind of so that is the purpose of human life, according to me, is to get out of this and all that things, and making models and stuff. I think just trying to prove these people wrong is not necessary. because these people are being proved wrong by making the model in the first place.
Okay.
And they made, I mean, I'm sure on your page also 100, you can prove 100,000 things wrong about this thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a complete, joke. So,
Yeah, but some people say, so okay, so if it's false, so then present us a true model or let's say
it's not like,
or alternative
tell
explanation
to
or
them,
something like this. So it's like,
tell to them like whatever you can see anyway. If you walk on earth flat, you walk on it. If you think you're running on a ball, it's up to you. You can think like that. Whether your garden is flat or round is up to and how
yes.
it will be to walk in a round garden is up to you. I mean, like when people speak nonsensical things, it is what is practically possible and realistic for you to live in. You have already, and that common sense you can get of living. Finally, it's about, and this is the kind of exact questions and behaviors which will make them not qualify for heavenly place.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to avoid. So we're not here to answer these people.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's for them to figure out whether they understand there are other realities or not. Okay, even commonsensically out here, like you can ask them, can you see a radio wave? You cannot.
Yeah.
But it exists, but you don't know what it is like. I mean, you can make some graph like that. This is radio wave. There's something like that on piece of paper. But is it really like that?
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, your radio catches the signal. You can hear the sound, but that's it. But you have no idea what a radio wave actually is like. Even a Wi-Fi signal, you can't see it.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is actually like. You've got no idea. You can make graphs and representations on paper all you want. None of that really matters. Because finally, what matters to anybody? There's something works, right? You want the radio to work, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to like see the radio. Oh, if I don't see the radio wave, I will not listen to the radio.
Yeah.
If I can't see the Wi-Fi signal, I will not use the net. Don't use the net.
Yeah.
Their thing is like that. It's childish and kiddish.
Yeah.
Okay,
that sounds good. And could you maybe also say something about those Vedic directions, the understanding of the directions that you are?
The directions, the Vedic directions are same as the the magnetic directions. When you put a magnetic north, east, west, south. Because that's the field. I mean, why does the magnet go like that? Because it's the field. It aligns. Like north always goes to south and south always goes to north.
Yeah.
On a magnet, if you put another magnet, it'll be north will go to the south and south will go to the north. So that's the field. So like in Vastu, for example, which is the actual practical application of those directions for us. So if we put our head in the south, what is our head? Our head is a north pole of our body.
Yeah.
And feet is the south. Okay. So we should put the south towards the north.
Yeah.
And north towards the south.
Yeah.
What does that do? That means that we are more in a position which is more feasible. Like when you put a magnet, and if it's north is towards south and south towards north, that magnet stays easily. It doesn't have any problems. But if we put it other way around, north to north and south to south, it tries to move back. So it puts pressure. So if you sleep like that, then that'll push pressure on your system whole night.
Yeah.
Okay. And another position will not put that pressure on you. So in Vastu, they will say, oh yeah, your head should be towards south and this kind of thing. Okay. But it's just a practical thing to align with the field which is there. That's all. And and the east-west direction and stuff, whether it's rising of the sun or like to do with the Jyotish and Vastu and all these things.
But how about those descriptions in, for example, Srimad Bhagavatam, because they also describe in relation to, for example, Jambudvip or other, not Jambudvip, in relation to Mount Meru, for example. So how we should understand those descriptions then? If
those also are they're not local to our island. Let's just understand that.
Okay.
When they're talking north, east, west, south, they're not talking in relation to what it is here.
Okay, so it's basically in relation to to the whole picture, let's say, or
whole picture from the top. Like not our localized northeast, west, south, which is for us to work with actually practically on this this particular existence, this plane, this realm, this world. That's not,
So it's the same
and
case.
Each world will have its own axis as well. Like even though we have a little world, it still has its own axis.
Yeah.
Now, that's why we can't make a 3D model, because there is a central axis of the whole Brahman, and then we have our own axis here. Okay. Now, how does this axis connect to that axis?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't visually show that. Like, so we will show like, okay, there's a big axis here, and we have a little axis here.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, yeah, but what is the connection between this and this axis? Now we can't show that on a 3D plane.
Yeah.
Because finally, all the axes will be connected in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from our axis also, there'll be a way to get to the central axis, which is the central Mount Meru.
Yeah.
So whenever what they call Mount Meru is always the central axis, which is for our system and for the whole Brahmand as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there will be obviously wormholes, gateways between all those things and connections. But I don't think that can be shown on a 3D model.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's true. So it's not possible.
Yeah. So I
mean, but yes, your point is very good, that it's actually not possible to actually show all those things in the same time. So because you will not cover everything. So
a cardboard,
have full knowledge for that. It's not.
And it's not designed like that. Rishis are very clear.
Yeah.
The human perception and the 3D perception we have, and everything is not designed to unravel this thing. Like it's by design. It's by design like that. From top.
Yeah.
That it be so. Now, so that's a fact we have to face. This fact. You know what I'm saying? And beings who are not facing that fact are just hitting the head against the wall. I'm telling you that. Like that's all.
Yeah.
Once you face that fact, you will calm down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not meant to be by very high level beings even. You know? The beings which are close to the divine itself, like pure divine itself. Like it is by divine decree, let's say, that this place is made like this. Okay. So we should not go against the divine decree. And even if we try to go, I know that nothing is going to happen it does not matter. Nothing will be found out. No satisfactory model.
Yeah. So they would check.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I never tried to make any model. Or never even attempted to, because to me, message is very clear. It can't be done. Yeah. So this is not, and I don't think it's our job here, to waste whatever little life we have here. Our main goal, as per Srimad Bhagavatam, is moksha, what they call moksha, which is getting out of cycle of birth and death. So I think beings should focus on that. And our beings are more technically oriented, and they want to make words, and they want to know structure of these things, so how to make these things. They can actually go to higher planes and then learn that. If they are if they're technically minded and if they're curious enough. Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yes. Yeah.
It should be an advertisement. You want to know how this all things work. So go high, go on a higher plane.
Because once you know how it works, you can make it yourself, right?
Yeah.
You are in a condition to make it yourself. It's a different thing. Then you're a different level of class of being. You'll definitely not be in this body, this suit, this space. Yeah. So.
And maybe last question to you would be about this electromagnetism and the consciousness, because you also mentioned in some point that there is some connection between them and those two.
Yes, obviously. Yeah. I mean, electromagnetism connects to ether, connects to consciousness. Okay. Now, ether is not an understood thing, which is called Akash Tattva. In the Vedic, what is the name for ether? Akash.
Akash.
Akash Tattva. Now, what happens there, we don't know. I mean, that's why we don't even know how sound really comes through tubes and things like that, wherever ether is involved. Even in technical things, it's just like it happens. We don't know how it happens or what's happening. Okay, and that's the thing. And you can consider that part of consciousness. Okay, where you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, and it is best to be a mystery only for this. And they are connected, obviously. Electricity, ether, and consciousness are connected for sure. Which even a simple thing like a tube amplifier can tell you that.
Yeah.
Like, it works on electricity, it deals with ether, produces sound, affects consciousness.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I mean, so what I'm saying is, even simple machines on Earth can give you this kind of clarity. And that's why, this net which we have, internet right now, it's called Ethernet, right? So all the information which is there on is not just in the servers, it's not just in that things, it is in the ether too.
Yeah.
Every last bit and data of this information which is in this world, www internet, is in the ether too. Yeah. Now that ether can be accessed by beings from Patal or Bhuvar or different beings if they have the right device. Right. So that's why it's called Ethernet.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do we need on this plane to run this? What does your laptop need? What do the servers need to run? Electricity.
Yeah.
Okay. So if electricity is holding up the thing by which we are talking, and finally all of this records onto Ethernet, then there's a connection between electricity and ether. Whatever is electricity here is connected to ether.
Yeah.
Like directly, like obviously there is no that thing. And that's why even the causes of lightning can never be known why lightning happens. Because there's an etheric phenomenon.
Yeah, actually, the current science, I think they actually rejected. Yeah. The concept of ether, so which was also very bad thing. So because it was one of the reasons.
They have rejected everything which is anything sensible.
Exactly.
So that, which is to create this false thing just to waste people's time. Finally, the whole purpose of all this craziness was to waste people's time and energy. Is to keep them that thing so that they forget about the real purpose
of life.
That's it. So, the people who are going against that should not fall into the same trap. Yeah. That's my view of it. So.
And actually, Tesla was a person who was by that he was actually inspired by Vedanta. So because there was a Swami Vivekananda who was one of the first monk who went to India, and Tesla was very inspired by his lectures on prana and ether and akash, and actually that could be probably one of his inspirations in order to produce all his ideas.
Because Vedant is a term which I don't like because it means ant of Ved, end of Ved. Okay, there's no end of Ved. Ved is Anant. So there is no ant of. So even this Vedant is a very modern term, which is made up by people, which have misconstrued and misrepresented the Vedic knowledge. So I think all those people have misconstrued and misrepresented the Vedic knowledge. Okay. Through that, even the Westerners might have come to know terms like prana and ether and things like that. But they still misconstrued it and they made this Vedant. There is no ant of Ved. Okay.
It's end of knowledge, yeah.
And no, there's no ant of Ved. Like this thing, which is the multiversal principles, they are timeless. The Brahman principles, they're timeless, they're forever. They're anant, unending, without end. So there is no Vedant. Vedant by itself is a wrong term. Okay. Which has been propagated into the West. Again, all of these things were decoys, I think, to take away from the real Vedic knowledge. Okay. So that finally nobody gets to get out of the cycle of birth and death, because that's the whole point of Vedic knowledge for this plane. Okay, and all of these things are not focusing on that at
Mm-hmm.
all. You know, yeah. And once you go into words like Vedanta and stuff, you are it's very egotistical and very nonsensical and very crazy, and you know, like it's definitely not for taking you to higher planes of existence. None of these anandas are going there.
So it's not an ancient thing which was written by Vyasa or
What?
Vyasadeva or this Vedanta? No.
No. But why would Vyas use term like Vedanta?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, he will never say this. That's end of Ved.
Yeah, but they actually, yeah. So it's like this. It's supposed to be a summary of Vedas. Yeah.
That's somebody you wouldn't call it Ant.
Yeah.
Ant is very clear in Sanskrit. Ant means end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how would you call it then? How would you call the summary of Vedas?
The summary like is that like in my book and stuff, like in
Mm-hmm.
my piece even I'm saying like summary is like you are in a prison here in a
Mm-hmm.
human birth, and that
Yeah.
thing for the Vedic knowledge for this plane is that, and you have to get out. If you don't get out, you'll be getting another birth here over and over again, and you'll go through all that disease, decay, pain, craziness, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll say. So that is the essence of Vedic knowledge for this
Mm-hmm.
plane, actually. And
Yeah.
there are other planes where that's not the case. There's not like death, disease, old age, this kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So that's the essence. Okay. But to how to achieve that and all of that, that is Vedic teaches how to do that
Mm-hmm.
basically in this lifespan, and that's what I try to teach. Okay,
Yeah.
that's my whole point. My point is not anything like to use stupid terms like Vedanta or this kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think like with Vedic things, so much distortion has happened over the last even
Mm-hmm.
150 years in the ways like yoga, Vedanta, like all of this is not Vedic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it is sold in the name of Vedic in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Hinduism, they're different things
Mm-hmm.
which all actually take away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So so everything is taking away from it. Like I mean, there's nothing which is actually just for focusing on that. Like getting the right behavior and getting yourself sorted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because it's a qualification, isn't it? Whenever you go somewhere, you need to be qualified for that, right? Qualified. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What does heaven require or a higher planes require? Qualification. Are you qualified? If you're not qualified, you come back here, basically again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep on doing until you are qualified. And how do you become qualified? That's what the Vedic thing is teaching.
Mm-hmm.
What is Srimad Bhagavatam about? How to get qualified? Okay.
Yeah.
They are talking about getting qualified even up to Vakunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm just saying not to go that far. Let's get qualified for the next one first.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
So you say it's not possible to skip and just go directly to
You
Vaikuntha?
can, but you can. I mean, everything is possible, but depends. Like, but beings who are not even getting out of cycle and birth and death, for them to say that it breeds of too much arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because even if you qualify for that thing, the being from the top might say like, you go and stay there and do something for me. Will you say no? No, you won't. So, like, it's not like that. But what I'm saying is that it's the attitude and the whole thing. That's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is the psychological preparation, the behavioral preparation. That is the key.
And how about the human body and the plane source of existence? Because it's probably not a coincidence that we have like 7 lokas above us, and also there are like 7, so actually 6 above us, and we are the 7th one. Yeah. So and it's also connect. So is there some connection? How is it actually constructed?
Obviously, but try to understand something in the Brahman. Everything is constructed in fractals.
Yeah.
Everything has to be a fractal. I mean, because the blueprint of creation is always going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to create fractals everywhere. So I mean, you can do minor modifications
Mm-hmm.
to different things, but finally they have to follow a pattern.
Yeah.
which is patented by Brahma itself from the top. He comes with a pattern first, which is, and then from there on, like that pattern is repeated. And sometimes utilized this way, sometimes utilized that way.
Yeah.
Right now, like everyone knows how a tube amp works. Different people know how to make a tube amp, but then they can make different ones.
Yeah.
But they'll still have capacitors and resistors and two transformers, and like, so there'll be input transformer, there'll be output transformer. Okay. Like, so I mean, there is a logic to the thing, and the same logic is applied in human body. Human body is not separate from the logic of this Brahman. So obviously it will have the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Not sure if I have more questions. Yeah, maybe just what should be then the starting point to go to the higher plane, to go for higher plane? So what are the basics?
Taking control of the body. You have to take control of the human body. For example, if you have your hand there right now, you can't keep the hand there.
Okay.
Okay. You have to control your hand for not getting there. Okay. Okay. Even though your mind, when you trying to think, will put your hand there automatically.
Yeah.
Because it aids in your thinking. Okay. But you have to keep it disciplined. You control the body, you control the mind. That's all. So first the control of, and that's why I have these meditation classes online. Okay. I think that which focus on centering the body first. So first the body has to be controlled. Okay. And because when you control your body, what can you control after that? Behavior.
Yeah.
If you don't control your body, how can you behave properly? Even if you want to. Even if you want to behave right, you cannot behave right.
Because you don't control the body, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
First step is human body. That's why you've been given this body. Why have you been given this body?
To get the control over it.
To control over it, because it's easier to control.
Yeah.
It doesn't run away that quickly. Mind is too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is very slow. You have to show I can control this thing.
To go to a high plane, actually, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So
yes.
So it's very logical. So first control the small thing, and then you go for bigger. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, if you can't ride a bicycle, you should not be riding that thing. A very fast bike.
So even the other actually processes, like different types of yoga. So actually they start with this. So with the control.
Yeah, I mean, it just control your body. Like, and you can that thing to our meditation session. You can learn.
So you cannot even probably correctly meditate or.
No, because the word meditate comes from medi.
Yeah.
And medi means center.
Center, median, yeah.
Which comes from madhya in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is madhya, which became medi in Latin, I think, and then it is come into English middle. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, body has its axis center. You have to stay around that. You can't go left and right. The more centered you are, the more your chances of controlling anything.
But how is it this actually? So this, because I don't really understand this centering. So why is it so important to keep everything in the center? So like center.
Because balance. Because you have right channel, left channel. Because there's day and the night.
Yeah.
If it was day all the time, no plants will grow. If it was night all the time, nothing will grow.
But for example, human body, so very often one side is different than the other one. Yeah. So like left.
No. But it is still centered. You have still two arms on each side.
Yeah.
It's symmetrical. You have 2 ears. You are very symmetrical. Like there's a symmetry on the center. 2 eyes, one on each side. Like if you put a single line through the human body, it's connected on half up, exactly same.
Okay. To check that one.
Yes, yeah. You can check like one nostril there, one eye here, one eye there, one ear, one like that thing. So, yeah.
So you say that it should be like a perfect match, or?
No, it's not a perfect match. It's like you have to keep your body centered, like as much as you can. That's what was taught in the Vedic Gurukuls by rishis in these ashrams. They used to tell beings to be the straight and speak from the center of the mouth.
How to speak from the center of the mouth.
Okay, that is taught. That is taught. Okay, that is the whole learning. Yeah. So that's where you have to take. You should take that thing, meditation online sessions of Lotus Ocean.
Mhm.
You will come to know how to do those things.
Okay, that's actually very interesting.
Yeah,
So not sure if
this is
I
the
have heard from anyone else than you about the speaking from the center of the mouth.
no, like, and I'm just saying, because this is real Vedic stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's going to talk about that because it is actual what rishis used to teach to the students. Okay, that's step one.
Yeah.
Step like that. Okay, because without step one, without foundation, you cannot make anything.
Mhm.
And in human body, that is the foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's why even if people do bhajan kirtan and it doesn't work if you don't do this.
Once again, what do they do? Oh, sorry.
Kirtan or bhajan and things like that.
Okay.
Like even none of these things work until you do these things.
And then until they start speaking from the center of the mouth, yeah.
Oh, and until they control their body first.
Until they control the mouth.
First duty of a human being is to control the body.
Yeah, actually, that's true. That's correct. Actually, that it's the first duty, because other things are not really possible to. So.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there are like 10 offenses and that's so and so on. So there's so many things which people just commit because of not controlling the body. Yeah. So
yes.
Totally agree with you. So it's basics first.
yeah. And forget about models. Your body is already there.
Okay.
Yeah. Use it properly.
Okay.
Yeah. And that is possible all within a lifetime. All this work, human lifetime.
Yeah. So it's quite same time.
Yeah. Okay, Umesh. So this is that thing. So.
Yeah. So thank you so much. It was very interesting to hear all those explanations. So very grateful for that, and hopefully we could also continue in some point also in future.
Yeah, I mean they're happening different ones. I can send you the links. You can.
Yeah, please do so. Yes.
Okay. And
thank you very much. So all the best, and talk to you.